my choice for a reindeer, for Dasher, is an unusual one. It's a tiny insect. It's a thing called the silver wine moth. I've got a little one of it here for my own collection. I've chosen this for Dasher because it can move incredibly fast. It really can dash about. This, although it's only about 2 centimetres large, can move about 300 kilometres in a single day. And it does that by flying up into the atmosphere and moving across with high-speed winds. And I think that's a fantastic thing for Santa Claus to choose for pulling his sleigh. This could get across the UK from Land's End to John O'Groats in just 2 days. So here's for the silver wine moth.
Hello, I've chosen a flamingo to be Dancer pulling Santa's sleigh because I think they look like beautiful ballerinas in their tutus standing on one leg pirouetting. In fact, you've probably seen pictures of them dancing in the wild when you've googled flamingos. A gathering of flamingos is called a flamboyance, which is a fantastic name, and a baby flamingo is called a flaminglet. They are born and grey and fluffy, and they only take on this beautiful pink hue as they feed. Flamingos eat crustaceans, larvae and shrimps, and that is what gives them their beautiful colour. They filter the food, and when they sleep at night, they famously rest their heads on their back. They stand on one leg because they feel more secure, and it saves their muscles getting tired.
Prancer should be a rabbit. Rabbits are built for speed. Their powerful hind legs allow them to accelerate quickly from a standstill position, and they can prance away at a moment's notice. Reaching speeds of up to 40 miles an hour, they are way faster than even Usain Bolt, who has reached a slow 27 miles an hour. Rabbits also have amazing hearing, and they can hear up to 3 kilometers away. Their long ears can rotate or swivel independently, ideal for listening out for possible predators or indeed children who are still up on Christmas Eve. They also have great eyesight with the eyes on the sides of their heads. They have great peripheral vision, and that's day and night. But perhaps most conveniently of all, rabbits do love a treat of a carrot. So, who needs reindeer when you have rabbits?
A great replacement for Vixen the reindeer has to be a real vixen, a female fox. Being nocturnal will help with nighttime deliveries around the world, as will their endurance skills. Santa can't get lost. Foxes use Earth's magnetic field to locate prey, or in this case, homes to deliver to. Climbing over roofs is no problem to them. They have great nighttime vision and super hearing, so will be able to detect children awake. Santa needs to be quiet while making his deliveries, and foxes silently stride. There's a lot to do in one night, so speed is what we need. We have the phrase, quick like a fox. Legend says a fox ran so fast in the snow that its tail swept sparks into the sky, making the northern lights. Christmas sparkle.
Comets travel brightly through the night sky, so a good fit for Comet in pulling Santa's sleigh is a firefly. Fireflies are actually types of beetle. Most have a special light-emitting organ, which is usually low down on the abdomen. The light is produced by chemical reaction that uses 2 chemicals produced by the firefly, along with oxygen from the air. A firefly turns about 90% of the energy going into this reaction into light, whereas even for an efficient LED light bulb it's about 20%. The light has various uses. It can tell predators that the beetle larvae taste bad, or for adults it can help to attract a mate. Sometimes fireflies form swarms which flash their lights together, so maybe a whole swarm would be the best replacement for Comet.
While a snail may not be the first choice that comes to mind when you need a sled to be pulled, if there ever was a Cupid of the animal kingdom, it would be a land snail, or slug. And that's down to the calcareous or chitinous darts that are formed and stored within a dart sac adjacent to their gonads, both within the head. These love darts are fired as contact shots during snail courtship, just before they mate, and their function is to inject a pheromone-like compound that initiates sperm preservation mechanisms in the other snail. Now, these darts are not anywhere near universal in land snails or slugs, but when they are present, the variation in form and appearance is so substantial that they can be useful ID tools for differentiating species that are near indistinguishable from outward appearances.
So I think the elephant would make a great replacement for Donner to pull Santa's sleigh. The name Donner means thunder in German, and elephants are very good at making a thundery, rumbly noise as they communicate with each other. When people first heard this noise, they thought that maybe it was the elephant's stomach rumbling, so that's why we call them rumbles. However, we now know that it is in fact the elephant's voice, and it's the air passing over their vocal cords that makes the sounds. Some of these sounds are too low for people to hear. The other reason I think that the elephant would be a really good replacement for Donner is that elephants are the strongest animal in the world, so they'd be able to pull the sleigh no matter how many presents Santa had to deliver. The only problem with this is that in order to keep their strength up, the elephant has to eat continually for between 12 and 16 hours every day. So when you leave a mince pie out for Father Christmas on Christmas Eve, you would need to remember to leave something out for the elephant to eat as well.
In place of Blitzen, I would choose a platypus to pull Santa's sleigh, because Blitzen comes from the German word for lightning, which is made of electricity, and platypuses are one of the only mammals that can detect electricity with their bills. Every single muscular movement in the animal kingdom is controlled by an electrical impulse. So when platypuses swim underwater with their eyes and their nostrils and their ears closed, they can sense the world and the electrical impulses given off by all the animals moving, or even just their heartbeats around them. And that allows them to find their food, so they can eat maybe half a kilo of food a night. For an animal that's just 1 or 2 or 3 kilos in size, electrical detecting skill of their bill allows them to hunt a huge amount of food.
Just like Santa's most important reindeer, Rudolph, there are many species of fish that can produce light. Perhaps none is more famous than the anglerfish. There are many different species of anglerfish. Some of them live close to the seafloor, and others live in open water. Some of them live so deep in the ocean that we don't know very much about their behaviour at all. Unlike Rudolph's nose, however, the purpose of the light that the anglerfish produces isn't to help the fish itself see, or indeed to guide Santa's sleigh. Instead, it uses it to attract prey, or a mate. Indeed, the name of the anglerfish comes from the lure that it has that it can use to bring in prey. Now, most species of fish that produce light do so by their own power, but the anglerfish has formed a symbiotic relationship with a certain species of bioluminescent bacteria. Perhaps it's this sort of bacteria that causes Rudolph's nose to glow as well.